Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Acosta. I am a non-religious licensed minister, and if you are here for the first time, welcome. We will be talking today about something that we really tend to skip over, and that is Proverbs 23:7. We'll be right back after this. All right, so let's get into this. Proverbs 23 verse 7, often known as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Reading it from the beginning, it says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." Now, if I'm reading either the New King James Version, which makes the these and the thous kind of obsolete there. "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you." When we really take this understanding of what's going on within the heart, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Now, we don't really, unless you understand the way the mind works and the function of the heart, which is the soul, the heart of hearts, the soul, unless we really understand, and we also understand the different functions within the soul, doesn't matter what Bible dictionary, doesn't matter how much I go back to the original word, we will not be able to understand this. So, for example, in 2 Peter, it says, "By his stripes we were healed." We were. So therefore, every believer that you see that is declaring the name of Christ should be healed. Technically speaking, we should be healed, but we're not. Now, when we profess that, when you profess that out of your mouth, "By his stripes I was healed," there's one thing if you're just declaring it to somebody else, especially if a non-believer. But when you say it, do you feel it on the inside that there's a part of you that disagrees? Because the fact to you is that you're not healed. You feel that. I want you to be able to feel what's going on inside of you. So that part there that disagrees, there's a resistance. Out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth. Well, when things come up, what we have stored in there is what is coming out. And when we learn something new, we learn something new in the sense of an understanding here in our conscious mind. We believe something here. When we truly, fully understand it and it becomes, to us, a law, it moves into our soul and becomes faith. This doesn't, when it becomes faith, it doesn't matter what you see. You know that this is the end result, and you have a resting feeling knowing that. There's a resting feeling. There's an assuredness. There's a certainty. Okay? So what happens is, the best way to explain it is when we're young and we're becoming young adults, we start to try to think of what we're going to do with our lives. What we're going to be, what profession you're going to go to, whether you go into college for, what. And a lot of people, it's a very stressful time. It's a very stressful time because you're trying to choose what your future is going to be like. And there's a lot of uncertainty. If someone is choosing to be a doctor and their parents were doctors, then they have a kind of a little bit of hold of a rope. And what you'll find is when someone was, you'll ask them, they're a doctor, ask them, "Well, what was your parents were doctors? What are you? I'm a lawyer." "What were your parents?" "Your parents were lawyers." "What are you? An officer." "What was your parents?" "An officer." So usually you'll find where the children will stay kind of almost in line with their parents, especially with certain professions. So what happens is that direction is missing. The child growing up is lost in what to choose. And so he tries to find a spot that they can settle in, right? They don't always aim for the highest accolade, or "I'm going to be very successful. I'm going to make lots of money. I'm going to have a house like this. I'm going to have a car like this. That is a desire, and it's a hope, and it's a want. But a different reality starts to set in. That maybe I'm never going to have that. Maybe this is the best life will ever be. Now, just follow along with me. And if you haven't yet, please hit subscribe and like. And share this if you get a chance. When we take that in, we take it in and it goes into our soul, and we believe that this is the way, this is the best my life is going to be. this is the best that my life's going to be. For a lot of men, it becomes there's some men that just want to go and they want to plant seeds and have kids here and there with this female and that female, right? But a lot of times, sometimes it's very hard for a young male to commit to marriage, not because of that he just doesn't want to, but because of his fear of being able to support a wife and support children and support a household and being able to do those things. So there is a disbelief on the inside of his capabilities of what he can do. And so when that goes into the soul, it implants there and it creates a mental perimeter of where the soul, there's a part within the soul that keeps you within that area. And it really is like an invisible dog fence, and it'll hold you within that. So when you speak something out that says, by his stripes, we were healed, it's conflicting with that fence, right? So, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. I can say it, but my heart isn't there. And the results that we're getting in our lives continually is the results of what's in our heart. That is what has to change. See, the Lord coming and taking away my sins absolutely gives me a clean slate. It gives me a clean slate and a pathway to the door, a pathway to the kingdom of heaven, a pathway to the kingdom of heaven within me. But at the same time, it brings me back into God's good graces, right? The small other problem with that is that unless this changes, it's washed from sin, but my thinking hasn't changed. My thinking, I believe, if I say, well, I believe that God can do anything, I haven't done anything to change that for myself, because now I'm waiting for God to do it. My faith isn't there either. Your faith is measured by when we understand that God will never do for you what you cannot see him do through you. When I can see him do it through me, is the understanding that block is removed. That blockage that is taking place within my soul is removed. Now, that blockage doesn't move away very easily. It takes real study. It takes understanding of how things happen, how that happened, and the ability to change it, to really understand that all things are possible to him that believes. And so when we don't understand that, we are reading the Bible. Doesn't matter how well we translate it. Doesn't matter if we go back to the original language. Doesn't matter how much we study. We can go back to Jerusalem and start making the original potteries that they made back then and using widow's mites to buy candy or whatever else. But it's not going to bring me in to the inside of what's happening, because it's not on the surface. What you are seeing on the surface is what's on the inside in the heart. Now, a lot of Christians really do have and it's not their fault, but we've been taught to blame the devil for things. But when you blame the devil for something, it alleviates me taking responsibility and the accountability for what's in my heart that I keep on reaping. I am reaping the beliefs that I have taken in to myself. And we work in a certain way that our mind listens to something consciously. We listen to it like you're listening to me now. And I want to take it in, I want to plant it in. But I cannot plant it in while there's something else there. So it takes a form of repetition of constantly staying on that thing. I cannot have an aha moment and then go on, because it won't take hold. It has to take hold on the inside. In today's society, in today's our reality for what we're experiencing today with online things, social media, everything going on around us. We are not in the days of the Bible where they didn't have as many conflicting arguments and many conflicting religions and different beliefs worldwide. Right now, in the realm of the believer, there's a lot of other things that are infringent upon the belief, and they play a role, because the reality is you can go into a large workplace where they have 2,000, 3,000 employees, and maybe a third of them believe in Christ and believe in God and they're saved, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Oftentimes you can't, because they are so mixed in with it. They even believe in karma. Okay, karma is, and in case you do, let me let you understand what karma is. Karma is a law, and it's explained as karma because we don't understand it correctly. The law is simple. What you sow, you shall reap. And that's what it is. We are always living because of what's in our hearts. What's in our hearts moves into action. What is in our heart moves into action. You understand what I'm saying? When a baby wants to walk, he's watching somebody walk, and he's watching a person walk, and he's seeing them, and he's watching them, and he's taking it into his mind over and over again. But it's not until it goes into the heart that the baby starts moving into action. Now, the rest of the creatures and all of creation does not function that way. They get up and they start going. They don't have to. A baby giraffe will get up and start walking. A baby elephant, within an hour or so, is up and moving. Almost immediately, they're up and moving sometimes and walking along with their parents because they don't have that to set it in between. We have to set it in and program it in. See, when you're driving stick shift, if you're driving stick shift for a second, you're hitting, even if you're driving a regular car without stick shift, you're hitting the brakes too hard. You're hitting them too lightly. You're jerking the wheel, right? Well, once it's implanted into the subconscious, into the soul, then it becomes automatic. It becomes natural. Everything else we've taken in and we've put inside of us, all the beliefs, all the things that we hear and we agree. Let me give you a bit of advice. When you hear somebody say something and you don't agree, because it's like a child, and that child is listening all the time, and you have to be able to consciously, it's a subconscious. The soul is subject to you. I understand why you see that. That's what you use. Oh, I understand why you see it that way. Because it puts a barrier between the way you see something and the way they see something. You cannot bring that in because that part listens to it and it takes it in. And when it takes it in, your result starts to change. You do not want to also go back when you've made some big changes. You do not want to leave that behind and then go back to it and revisit it in your mind, because that part of the heart does not understand that it's not now. It does not know time. It is an I am. I am is not confound to the future and the present and the past. It is now. Everything is right now. And so there's a lot of things to learn about this. I do it as a little exercise, and I want you to follow along with me here. I want you to just, as you listen to what I'm saying right now, I want you to just close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I want you to, in your mind, just only in your mind, see your house very clearly. Now, you see the color of your front door. Now, I want you to go inside your front door, and I want you to walk into your kitchen. Now, when you're in your kitchen, I want you to look at the refrigerator. And you can tell what color it is. You can see the color perfectly. You can see whether you have a top and a bottom, if the doors open to the right or left, or you have two doors and they open split side to side. I want you to open up the refrigerator, and I want you to grab a lemon right there on the shelf. I want you to take out that lemon, and I want you to grasp it firmly, and I want you to smell it. And just smell the citrus flavor of it, the citrus in the air on the lemon, and just hold it firmly in your hand. Now I want you to walk over to the counter. I want you to grab a chopping board and a knife. Now, before you use that chopping board and the knife, I want you to start peeling with your hands. Peel that lemon. Just start taking the peel right off of it and throwing it into the trash. Now, once you have it nicely peeled, I want you to go ahead and dig your fingers right in between it and split it into two halves. You can feel all the juice going over your fingers. Now I want you to get one of those halves, and I want you to split that into two, so now you have a quarter in your hand. Now, with that chopping board and that knife, I want you to cut off a fourth of a piece of that little fourth. So in other words, just cut off maybe about an inch off the end. I want you to put some salt on that end. Now I want you to put it into your mouth. I want you to start chewing it and chewing it and chewing it. What happens? Now, you didn't eat a lemon. Now you can open your eyes. You didn't eat a lemon. You didn't chew a lemon. But for most of you, you felt your body react to the lemon. You could feel your mouth salivating. Some of you even tasted the sour. Right? What's going on? You use your conscious mind to activate what your subconscious already knows. And your subconscious is preparing for that. Okay? Now, when there is a different belief in there, when there's a different belief within that subconscious mind, even though you understood it consciously, when you say, by his stripes we were healed, nothing happens. It cannot produce the effect because the belief is not there. Now, no one's going to reject the fact that they've never tasted a lemon unless they don't like lemons. But because we do not reject it, we can feel and we can taste the sour. We can feel that our mouth salivating. You understand what I'm saying? So there is a conflict on the inside. Study to show thyself a workman approved. This is what we're talking about. Now, there's a lot of barriers in there when it comes to different things. There's a lot of barriers that we've been taught because a man hasn't understood these things. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. We haven't understood these things properly. And because we have not understood these things properly, we explain it a certain way. We take that belief in, we store that belief on the inside. So when the truth comes, I believe a lie. We are continually living in the residual effect of what we had sown before. Today, I am reaping what I sowed yesterday and the day before. What your current reality is the residual effect of the thoughts and beliefs that you took into your heart before. And oftentimes, it's conflicting with what you already know, but is not conflicting with what's on the inside. Because what's on the inside is what you're getting. Do you follow me? It's what's on the inside of you is what you are getting. And sometimes those things are not good. It's a lot of problems. It's a lot of strife. It's a lot of stress. It's worry and doubt. It's fear. It's anxiety. That's what you're getting because it's what we've sown. What you sow, you shall reap. And so what has to happen is we have to learn how to change those things. And if you continue to watch these videos, you'll learn as you listen to this, it'll open your awareness and you'll start to implant new things and you'll start to get rid of replacing evil with good. Learn to take responsibility for everything in your life, everything around you. Don't put the blame. Don't give the work to somebody else. Don't give your benefits to somebody else because your problems are your opportunities to change what's going on within you. And we don't believe that's very hard for us to believe because we've been taught to things that things randomly happen. Well, what does the Lord say? He says, know the truth and the truth will set you free. This is the truth. The truth is we live in the residual of what we've sown into our heart. And it doesn't get sown in there very easily. And it doesn't go away very easily either. Example, you ever watch a drug addict or an alcoholic struggle to go, as they go through withdrawals, they have all the shakes and everything. When you change enough of these at one time, trust me, you'll go through the same thing. You go through an effect of illness. You go through an effect like your body is just like you have the flu. You don't even know if you wonder if you even have COVID and you'll test negative, but you'll go through these effects. Some people experience hives all over. They experience, it looks like they have measles and they don't understand what's happening. You get vertigo. But you'll usually last 2-3 days and then it'll go away. As long as the person doesn't go back, because you're either going to go forward into new results or you're going to go back and you don't want to go back. Hopefully you understand. If you did not, leave me a comment, drop a comment below. And these are things that we really need to understand and learn, because unless this gospel, which gospel? Well, we have the gospel where everyone pretty much knows about Jesus. They know about Christ. They know about salvation, but they don't see it, right? Imagine if Christ came without miracles, or if the disciples came without miracles, if they were waiting for the empowerment of the Holy Spirit, and we have that too. If we have it too, then there we are. But I can't with the conflict of what's going on inside of me. Think about that. With the conflict of what's happening within me, I can't. By his stripes, you were healed. How else are we going to explain that? We can explain it from the surface, but it's not going to do anything for fixing it. And it's not going to do anything for the reality of what it is, what's going on. It's a different belief that is stuck within my subconscious, within my soul, within my heart. And that is what's keeping me ill. If you are sick, it's because it's there. It's not that you're just allergic or something like that. That's a belief that's in there. Watch this. Stuttering. Stuttering. In a case where they studied, if I am not mistaken, it was about 758 people that had a stutter. What they finally found, what caused the stutter, was that when they were being raised and they started to talk, their parents, the parents of the people that stuttered, would say, oh, they can't say that word. They didn't say they have trouble saying those words. They didn't have trouble saying that. Oh, they can't. So what happened? The thought went in. And it went in because when your people are very young, everything goes right into there. We say that children are like a sponge. That's why. Because the conscious mind isn't blocking things. It goes right in. It goes right into the soul. And so every time, now they don't know what's going on. Now they're older. Now they've gone through the amnesia, but it's been you hear me talk about amnesia. If you buy this book, Let the Answer Sink In, it's available. I'll put it in the link. Reasonably priced. Here's this one also, The Believer's Guide to Christ in You Manifested. Both of these books are good. I'd take the green one first, let the answer sink in, and then go to the next one. But they'll explain some of these things because we all remember a point in time where we woke up and we didn't remember the day before. Well, all those things are stored in there. They've been stored in there. So the child all of a sudden is trying to talk, but it's implanted within his subconscious mind, within his soul, that he can't say this. So he starts to stutter. In about 758 cases, I believe it was, all of them had the same problem. What their parents had said, that they could not say those words. Sometimes parents are very quick to identify what the baby does. Oh, he does this when he wants that. Or she does, because we want to be a good parent. You want to be able to know your baby. But some of those things are very damaging too. And that's one of them. Because now that kid, look at Moses. Moses didn't want to go talk to Pharaoh because he had a stutter. The books will be linked in the description. And if you have any comments, leave them down below. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with somebody. All right? God bless. Talk to you later.